I start this recipe with the onions in my right hand, and I end with the onions in my left. But I suppose that's the thing. So much in cooking begins with the frying of onions. It's one of the essential rhythms of the kitchen, because cooking isn't a big performance. It is simply a series of small, repeated tasks that weave their way through the days. And if you're wondering why the onions are looking quite so yellow, it's because I'm frying them in cold-pressed rapeseed oil, which has a wonderfully mustardy flavour. So I'm going to leave them softly sizzling while I go in search of heat in the form of this red chilli. If you want to de-seed it, you may. I'm just slicing. I want all the fire. So my chilies need to be added to these soft, sweet onions in the pan. And I know this is might seem an odd way of conveying them, but it's because I'm frightened of taking my lenses out later. Beautiful. Ginger is essential here. It has a particular peppery, almost pungent warmth. Gonna grate quite a lot of it in. Oh, and garlic, of course. Another form of heat. So familiar, so necessary. But my heat-seeking mission is not over. I want the gold fire of English mustard. And actually, it provides more than heat. It seems to dance on the edge of bitterness. Now I'm off to the green corner, first for spinach, and this just needs to wilt in the pan. Then lime. Sourness is essential in cooking. It brings brightness and lets the deeper flavours rumble through. And salt, of course. What I'm making is a Bhorta, and it's a bit impudent of me to be telling you what a Bhorta is, since I've only recently been introduced to this wonderful thing. But essentially, it's a dish from the Indian subcontinent, and its chief and defining feature is that it contains a mashed component. And I have just such a component in the oven, ready to be mashed. For this is a fish finger Bhorta. Now, I've had these fish fingers in the oven for longer than it says on the packet, because I want to get them really crisp on the outside. I'm going to start my mashing. Oh, it's a promising sound, isn't it? And I can add to my sour, hot tangle of gingery onions and mash again. Whatever you do, don't go for those luxy, chunky fish fingers, because then you'll have too much of the fish and not enough of the breadcrumbs. And I want a lot of the breadcrumbs. This is fish fingers as you've never eaten them before. And I say that as someone who adores a fish finger sandwich. Can't wait to dive in. Soft, crunchy, spicy. Want to give it a good carpeting of coriander. And this is something I brought to the party. Pink pickled onions. I've just been steeping some half moons of red onion in vinegar for a while. And this is everything I want out of supper every day, any day. And I'm going in. You know, I really had thought I had exhausted the culinary possibilities of a packet of frozen peas, but a friend of mine recently showed me his method for using them still frozen as the first layer in a tray bake. Takes a leap of faith, but go with it. With the peas, I want the gentle allium savouriness of leeks. Sliced. This is so relaxing, easy to make, cosy to eat. You know, I am totally unembarrassed about using frozen peas whenever I can, and I'm very, very proud of the fact that Nigel Slater has crowned me the queen of the frozen pea. Come back. So the leeks can join the petit pois. And now 2 fat cloves of garlic. So everything goes straight into the pan. In any nub I can't mince, I can just drop in as it is. Let this little nub go in as well. Wonderful. A good scattering of sea salt flakes. And next, a little olive oil, just regular olive oil. And a splosh of dry white vermouth. A flourish of dill. I need some to scatter on later, but this will just be torn up over the peas. And help stop me getting frostbite as I mix everything together. Some gloves. And this being a chicken and pea tray bake, I need my chicken. Thighs for me. As the peas cook, they grow duller in colour, certainly, but so much more vibrant in flavour. And the steam they give off makes the chicken exceptionally tender and its skin crisp and crackly. For one more little touch, I need a little more oil just on the chicken skin. And ditto with the sea salt. Once they come out of the oven, I'm going to scatter them with the dill I've got left. Oh, and alongside, I've got these rather fabulous black-skinned, purple-flesh vitellotte potatoes. I'll steam these later, but for now, this needs to go in the oven. It'll be done in about an hour and a quarter, and while it cooks, I'll potter about and get the table ready for my sister and family. I do love a cluttered table. The more bits and pieces there are dotted about the place, the happier I am. And I know I haven't left a lot of room for the food, but that doesn't matter. I'll squeeze it in. And it doesn't matter either that we're all shoved up against one another, because really, the whole point of this is being together. Once my tray bake is hot out of the oven, I strew it abundantly with dill. My little chicks. Oh, lovely. I've been alive a long time, and when it comes to eating, I've spent that time wisely and well. So it's not often I come across something that tastes so different to anything I've eaten before. This is a stir-fry, comforting and familiar, warm with ginger and hot with garlic. When I first ate this, it was cooked by a chef called Tum, spelt or rather transliterated, T-U-M, very gratifying. And he used Chinese celery, which is really mostly thin stalk and a lot of leaf. So what I do is I use what I think of as the shoots from a leafy stick of celery, which I chop, none too fastidiously, you'll be shocked to hear. And what the celery gives is an anise flavour, but with herbal freshness. Now comes the same, but bringing base, star anise. And as if to amplify the star anise, some cinnamon, crumbled in shards. I'm making a base for the prawns to cook in. So on top of those spices, some dark soy sauce, steady with this. And on top of that, some light soy sauce, or thin, this is called, this Thai version, with a fantastically fat child on it. A small dollop of oyster sauce for richness. And don't faint, some ready ground pepper. I never thought I'd see the day when I use school pepper in my cooking, but this really works. Now some water. Chicken stock concentrate. I never feel bad about using stock that isn't homemade. Chef Tum used chicken powder, and that's the nearest thing I can get to it. And then some ketchup mayonnaise, which is like sweet soy ketchup. And into this bubbling brown liquid go the prawns. Wouldn't we all like to pop out to the local market to pick up some fresh, plump prawns and then stroll back down the beach? A large sun hat for me. But if I didn't think these frozen prawns worked here, I certainly wouldn't be cooking with them. Some of the sweetness of the prawns goes into this brown liquor, and those deep spices cling to the prawns. And in go some glass noodles, cooked and drained. And stand back while I toss this together. I've always thought of Thai cooking as sprightly and sharp, but there's something about the darkness and depth of this which is exciting. And now a startling punch of ground cloves and a pinch of ground cinnamon. Now, obviously none of these ingredients is new, but it's how they're used in a particular way that makes them taste so different, and that is the essence of what cooking is. This is Thai seafood as you've never tasted it. Tawny tangle of noodles. And these golden prawns. I rather love the shards of cinnamon going through it. Obviously, they're not to be eaten. Final touch. The leaves from the shoots of celery. A friend of mine's father said, if it goes in it, it's got to go on it. I said at the beginning that a stir-fry was comforting and familiar, but what this is comforting and unfamiliar. Right now, I feel like something robust and hearty, which calls for fusiglione, which are comically large fusilli, and they're really good with this, which is Nduja, and I can best describe it really as a spicy salami paste. And it makes life so easy because it creates a near instant sauce. I'm going double carb. You know it makes sense. So in here, bubbling away, I've got a peeled and cubed potato, and these little cubes obviously provide ballast, but they also seem to melt fuzzily into the sauce. So in goes my fagioli. A bit of a stir. And I have to say, that pasta pan is really working because I have another thing to add to it. As ever, I love cooking greens with pasta. I'm using Cavolo Nero here, which literally means black cabbage in Italian. I love its sturdiness and mineraliness. Right, in this goes. I'm going to try and do it a bit gently. And you know, when I said that this is a near instant sauce, I wasn't exaggerating in the slightest. So, melt a bit of butter. I use butter here rather than, say, oil, because its sweetness really seems to balance the fabulous fieriness of the Nduja. And more, it seems as well to help thicken the sauce. A couple of splodges of the soft, spicy, squidgy Nduja. The way that Nduja is spelt looks to us as if it should be pronounced Nduja, but you can remember its correct pronunciation if you think of saying, Nduja, want to eat now? Yes? And that's a sauce. Let's see how we're doing in the very, very full pasta pot. Right, the potatoes are soft. Those sturdy spirals are ready. Now, the tough Tuscan kale is now tender, but still with chew. Right, I'm gonna toss this patiently and hungrily. There may be a faster pasta sauce, but I haven't encountered it. Gorgeous. When the skies are dark and the air chill, this really bolsters and brightens. Look at that. Now, what I like is a green trickle of extra virgin olive oil. Gives me life. Right, the gemelli are in. I'll get started with the sauce. It's a sauce of anchovies, tomato and mascarpone, and it is full of zesty flavour. I do need to say a word about anchovies, which is that a lot of people think they don't like them because they've had a sort of salty, rusty nail on a bad pizza. But in fact, think of anchovies as the bacon of the sea. They give depth and a wonderful savoury intensity. So let's just get this off the mezzaluna. Pretty much a mush, because the idea is for them almost to melt into the oil. And they're flavouring the oil so gorgeously as they cook. The anchovies are pretty well dissolved in the oil, so now a bit more pep and brio. Fat clove of garlic first. And more heat with some dried red chili flakes. A semi-stir, and then some cherry tomatoes. I just halve them across the equator. These won't take very long to start exuding all their gloopy tomatoiness into the flavoured oil. But while I wait, I don't like waiting, I'm going to chop a bit of parsley. Right, let's see how these little tomatoes are doing. You can see that their skin has started to sag and wrinkle a bit. Then I know how they feel. So time to add some vermouth. And I know I should say vermouth, but I've had a lifetime of mispronouncing it. Too late to change. So cheering when it starts bubbling up. And you can see that the tomatoes, aided and abetted by the chili flakes, have turned the liquid a vibrant orange. And it's the insides of the tomatoes that will thicken this, as well as a bit of bubbling away. And now that's done. Got some mascarpone, which mellows it, but actually there's a great tang to mascarpone, which I like. Looks like the sauce is the colour of tin tomato soup. Doesn't taste like that. And now some Parmesan. And I know traditionally Italians would never really add Parmesan to any pasta sauce that either has fish in it or is very chili-fied and garlicky, but, you know, this isn't an Italian recipe. It's Londinese. Now I just need a sprinkle of parsley. If you're going to drain your pasta, remove a cupful of the liquid first, but I won't need to, like this. I'm just going to lift it into the wok. You can see how the gemelli have swollen. They look so teeny before. It's a scant sauce, but a very highly flavoured one. And that's it ready, near instant. Oh, I love its salty, creamy tanginess. Inside, I'm telling myself to stop, but I'm ignoring that direction. Final bit of parsley. That's just what I need.